Break It Down
Yeah,
show.
Break It Down show. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, this is Felton Pilate.
Hey, this is Michael Cooper, and we're on the
We're
Break
at
It
the Break
Down.
It Down show.
Yes. So we did an episode with Felton last week, and I gave him plenty of flowers because he is, as I described him, the coolest guy I ever met based on our introduction. He was really cool, and I've been fortunate to meet really cool cats, but not as cool as Felton. By contrast, Mike, I'm going to tell a little story, and then I'm going to get out of your way because I would then describe you as maybe the warmest person I've met, and here's why. I was at the Cache Creek Casino one night. We were there for two reasons. We were there to watch our friend's band. It's a band called 5.0. There was a smoking band. It had a singer named Cornell Carter, who's amazing,
I remember.
and a drummer who's my big brother. His name is Richie Aguan. We were standing in the casino. A bunch of us had gathered to celebrate my wife's birthday.
Okay.
Okay. And we look into the casino, and I'm standing next to a gentleman named Dave Agent.
Right.
And he says, "Is that Michael Cooper?" And then he yells, "Hey, Mike." And you turn around and you walk over to us and say hi to everybody. And there must have been 15 of us there, but you shook everybody's hand. Of course, everybody's excited to meet Michael Cooper. And then you say, "Well, what are you guys doing here?" And I said, "We're here to celebrate my wife's 50th birthday." And you took both of her hands into your hands, and I swear the casino stopped. And you started singing happy birthday. Well, I'm there. Rich is there. Dave's there. My cousin Daryl, who has tech for you guys on the road before, he was there. And we all can sing. So we all join in. The casino stopped moving. And my wife got serenaded by Michael Cooper for her 50th birthday. Do you have any recollection of this occasion, Mike?
Man, I'm in that casino every week. Of course, I remember meeting and grouping, but it's all kind of like, whoa, another event in the saga of the life of Michael Cooper, right?
That's true. Well,
that's a trick I picked up from Tony Terry.
Okay.
I saw Tony Terry a clip. Some people posted it of just happening to be in a park, I don't know, just walking or happening to be in a park, and a couple was getting married, and they were obviously out in the park, and they had their justice of the peace and a few friends, and he just waited for the right time, and he walked over. He says, "Do you guys mind if I sing a song for your wedding?" And they had no clue who he was, right?
Uh-huh.
And he sung "When I'm With You." Killed it.
Lit these people's wedding on fire.
Groom. I mean, when you know you're killing it when the groom is starting to cry, right? and then they went online and found out who he was, right? And it was one of the coolest moments, he said, of his life, to happen upon that and then go ahead and sing and have that effect on them. They couldn't have planned that. They couldn't have planned it.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Well, we talked in the previous episode, which I will link for our viewers if you haven't seen it already, because these two episodes are going to go together. We started to talk with Felton last week about the history of Con Funk Shun, about Project Soul, and then him joining Project Soul, and then all of you moving to Memphis, and the whole progression of things, making hit records, and casting a long shadow on all of us musicians who grew up in Vallejo, California. But I want to talk really today mostly about the most recent iteration of Con Funk Shun, because we chronicled that history, and by all means chime in, Michael, for whatever you want to say about that long and storied history, and maybe talk about Felton if you need to. But you have also emerged as a legacy act that will whoop the behind of all the legacy acts. I mean, I've seen many, many legacy acts whose records were hits the same time in the 70s that yours were, that are great to see, but you don't catch a whooping like you catch when you go see a Con Funk Shun show. And so I think that deserves celebration, and I want to know what the recipe is because I think a lot of us want to know what the recipe is.
I think staying relevant on all fronts of the music business, relying on one's past to continue to make the phone ring, a lot relying on what you did totally. That's not in the cards for Felton and myself. We have studios, we have good brains, we still have our talent for writing and recording. And what better thing to do than to stay current with your audience and welcome in new and younger audiences. And that's what the Con Funk Shun pretty much is all about. I mean, we've got a great publicist, Miss Tanya Holly, who weekly keeps us on the sort of the airwaves, I should say, or on the internet, constantly keeping people updated on what we're doing and where we're going and why we're going there. And then we have a job to do. We have a platform, and we have to use it. We need to use that platform. And yes, a lot of groups, Midnight Star, SOS Band, a lot of guys are out there. They're doing it. They're playing. And some groups choose to kind of remain silent and then back in the shadows, and then boom, there they are on stage, and then they just kind of, well, no, we're gonna make sure that people know that we're alive and well. We got new music coming all the time. We're touring in cities all the time. We're not sitting on our hands, and we're loving every day of it. We thank God for every note we play, and that's kind of the way we look at it.
Okay, Felton, what do you think?
I agree with everything he just said. While he was speaking, I think one of the things that helped out for us in the early days was that the same way that Earth, Wind, and Fire had Maurice and Philip, the same way had that Heat Wave with Johnny and his brother, I'm sorry, I can't remember, that had two identifiable voices. The same way the OJs had two identifiable, between Eddie and Walter, had two identifiable voices. The Whispers, to some degree, although they almost sounded identical. I think that worked out well for Con Funk Shun. We had two identifiable voices plus the blend of the voices.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the things that helped us stand out as far as generating the career and helping us to stand out. But currently, everything Michael said, I totally agree with.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have stayed in fighting shape the whole time. There are other groups that, I mean, we are lucky enough to live in an age where people are tending to celebrate live music. So we see a lot of the legacy acts still out there. And not everybody, just keeps the saw sharp like you guys do. So I think there's something to be said for that.
You talking about people celebrating live music? We are celebrating being alive.
Yeah.
We are celebrating being alive. Statistically speaking, we're not even supposed to be here.
Well, okay.
But we are taking advantage of the fact that we have gone past those statistics. We're here. We're going to be doing it from now.
And you continue to beat the odds.
Yes, sir.
Here's an interesting thing for the Getting the Gig series. Michael, you have been, throughout this experience, a Solano County Sheriff deputy.
Well, yeah, I am. As a matter of fact, what's the date? Today is what, Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked Saturday for 12 hours.
Did you really?
And it was one of the most hair-raising 12 hours. I literally work in one of the county parks called Lake Solano, and we're kind of far enough away for the response time to be so great that they stick a deputy out there, and you're the police for that, say, basically that 10-mile circumference. And the other day, I don't know what happened. Karma just became crazy, man. Like, ladies pit bulls attacked her. And, I had to respond to that. That was crazy and hair rain. I had a serious argument with a dog. I had to point out to the fact to him that I was not backing up. So you can coach me all you want, but I'm not going anywhere. You need to back up. And then I thought I was home free after that incident. That lasted about an hour and a half. And then I was on my way to get something to eat later on that night, and a guy flagged me down, said his granddaughter had drove off her bike off the cliff and was not breathing properly.
Oh man.
Now here we go. Lights, sirens, boom. We're headed for something. Hospital, somebody that can fix this. And finally I got the idea. Why don't I just make people start coming towards me instead of me trying to get all the way to them? And the greatest thing in the world, we met at a convenience store, bait shop and gas station in Winters, California. And the EMTs met me and I met them, and they got her care, and it all worked out great. But man, I pulled in that parking lot, gassed that car up and turned it off and went and turned those keys in. I was like, do I really want to keep doing this?
Man.
I was like, ah, damn, I'm 74 years old. I'm running around out here like a 25-year-old. I said, no, this is nuts. This is nuts. But I'm still there.
Wow.
Mike, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How about you tell us about the most exciting day that you've had as a deputy sheriff? The most exciting day that you can remember.
I think he just did.
Well, there's that. If you're having excitement as a cop, as a deputy sheriff,
that's not what you want.
Not good.
Right.
You want quiet. So the last time I worked a different park, was last year about the same time, and a guy drowned. And by the time they got to me, he had been under like at least 3 to 5 minutes. And that was another hair raising. When you got a microphone up here on your shoulder and you push it and you say something that goes out to the entire county, and depending on the nature of the call, I don't know how the computer reads that or algorithms work, but not only are you talking to the entire county, the sheriff department, but you're also talking to EMTs. Their board lights up.
Right.
And okay, that was a hair-raising event because I had to literally tell them what I saw. I had to save 2 people that his girlfriend and another girl were out trying to bring him a life jacket, and they were going to die because the current was pushing them further out. So I had to talk them into treading water, one holding one hand, one like this, and they had a life vest in between them. As they come closer, they get back further. So they're going to run out of gas pretty soon. And then finally, God sent me a Coast Guard boat that I flagged down, and I got on my radio and I told Solano County, tell that Coast Guard, drop what he's doing and get his ass over here. And that's what I said over the air.
Got it.
Over the air. I didn't know I said it. But all the other deputies said, man, you did a wonderful job. He said, I like the part when you said, tell that Coast Guard to drop everything they're doing, get their asses over here right now. On the air. Everybody heard it. So they like, that's the voice of experience. I've only been doing the damn thing for almost 24 years. So
right. Cool.
Wow. Well, you being forceful in that situation is suddenly the stakes are a lot different than just being on the mic at the Concord Pavilion.
Yeah. It's that's hey man, being on stage, that's the gravy and the glory. That's the piece of chocolate cake right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Well, this is interesting now because we have kind of pulled away from music into a different life path. But I'll be honest with you, when I heard you were a sheriff deputy, I thought, if I was the county sheriff, I would love to have Michael Cooper on as a deputy, and I would send him out to kiss babies and cut ribbons and stuff. But that's not you. You're out there saving people's lives and going code 3. And
well, I'm in a division that pretty much shields me from a lot of things. It's called the SSOs, and it's for younger guys that want to get their feet wet and for older guys that don't quite want to leave. So they and long as we can shoot straight and walk straight line and drag a 200-pound dummy, they want you here. They don't worry about your age. So
okay,
it's a great thing, man. It's a great thing to be a part of anything that offers service. Right. And that's what I like doing. I'm a service type of person. I love service.
Fantastic. Would you describe any of the years in Con Funk Shun as dragging a 200-pound dummy?
Yeah, you're looking at him. Me.
Oh man. Well, okay.
I drag him on the stage and off the stage.
How is touring now different from when you were touring back in the 70s and 80s? What things do you have, because of the wisdom of having been through and the longevity that you've enjoyed? What things are different for you now when you address audiences and hit the road?
I miss the bus. I miss the bus.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tour bus. Right now it's 100% air travel. But I miss the whole idea of the rest that you get, the rest and relaxation you got when you had a tour bus, and you could sleep and you could get up refreshed and stop and have breakfast and go do the gig, and then go to bed, get up and do it again. I miss that. Right now, this business, and my wife travels with me now, so like Felton, we kind of got that from Felton and Jennifer. We get into town and we'll catch a red eye, but we get into town, she says, okay, go to bed. And we get that tour bus kind of feeling by getting into town and going to bed, and and then next morning she said, we'll be no waking up at 3 o'clock catching the plane. We're landing, we're going to sleep till 8, 9 o'clock, catch an 11 o'clock plane and get home at 3 or 4 o'clock. And that's the end of that. So those kinds of things are the differences from the old days. The old days were a lot easier on our bodies, and we were younger. The new days, the airports are kind of beating us up, and we're older. So,
Yeah.
You're nodding in agreement, Felton. That sounds like a pretty nice schedule.
Michael pretty much hit on the head. I can remember days after doing the concert that instead of going back to the hotel room to have to get up at 7, 8, 9 o'clock, I'll go to my hotel room, take a shower, go get on the bus and sleep on the bus. So that, when I wake up, work pretty much
in another city,
at the next city. Michael had pretty much hit on the head.
That's a real
traveling by the bus, and the comradeship.
Yeah.
Right? The fact that we're all traveling together on whatever times we spend awake and hanging out with brothers here. That was a whole.
Those are some funny times. I'm doing a book called On Love's Train: The Life, the Love, the Man, the Music, and I'm writing this book. And one of the chapters is going to be about, well, it's probably going to have to last at least in 2 chapters, off and on, because the life on the bus, the things that happen on the bus. I checked with my wife, and I said, well, how truthful can I get about the bus? And she said, look, you can either write a book or you're not. She said you just have to find the right words. People will figure it out for themselves about the goings on and the shenanigans of the bus. So there's a way to get in and get out without like getting that look, that side eye. Wait a minute. Like I thought we were together during that time. I mean, what are you talking about? But no, we're
oh boy.
The book is going to be a tell-all, but it's also going to be really fun. It's going to be really funny, and it's going to be really sad. It gets to a certain point where certain realities would have to be mentioned, like the loss of our drummer Lewis McCall, and things like that. We'll get to a point where we'll have to. We had one person fall prey to drugs, and wound up recovering and turned out to be one of our biggest leaders of moralic leaders. So there's a lot of things in the book that are gonna really raise some eyebrows, and a lot of things that people are gonna learn. The sheriff department, of course, all that stuff will be in the book. So and then of course there'll be mentions of certain people that some people are not going to appreciate, like ex-girlfriends and things like that. But for example, Love Train. Written about a girl that me and Felton were dating.
Yeah.
So it's like, whoa, you're going to put that in the book? Well, hell, what's the name of the damn book?
Well, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
And a legendary story.
Yeah.
Right. Before we
You
get off the
seem
top of the bus,
Mhm.
something that we had a fine system for the bus.
Oh God, I love it.
Everyone who was late
okay.
had to pay
Uh-huh.
$5 to everyone who was on time.
Oh,
Very effective.
yeah.
And
and
the
and we
phrase,
had
how did Cedric phrase it? Those who are on time shall be paid by those who are late. and
we
you got a lot of people want to be on time because they want to get paid.
Yeah.
and we had two people in charge of monitoring the time, so their watch was synchronized. So if you were delayed, it was by their watch, not
Not
yours.
yours. Uh-huh.
Right? And between the two of them, that's why we had two timekeepers, because the odds of both of them being late was far in between. But it was very, very effective. One guy made a bunch of money. Oh, so to be the only person on time? Oh,
Oh
you
yeah, you got paid.
yeah,
Oh yeah, like remember Marvin McFadden?
yes.
he was an additional trumpet player.
I
that
saw
we
Marvin
added.
yesterday.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Marvin made so much extra money. He would literally be on the boat on the bus like 30 minutes in advance, just
Uh-huh.
sitting there looking at his watch, waiting, knowing he's
Right.
gonna get some money.
Yeah. Felton, he'd already be asleep on the bus.
Oh yeah.
But that's a crazy coincidence because yeah, I hadn't seen Marvin in quite a long time and I just saw him yesterday.
Yeah.
He I live in Benicia and there's a little place I like to play at called Luca's Beer Garden. I'll give them a shout out. And he was playing there yesterday. So of course I went to go see him. His contribution, of course, is chronicled, and his contribution to Vallejo music was terrific for us as well. He's a little older than I am, so you're just bringing up all my musical memories and all the things that I looked up to. Now that you're on the road though and doing mostly these one-offs where you fly in, and I mean you're talking about the two singers in the band who don't even live in the same time zone. So of course there's going to be air travel involved in something that you do.
Yeah.
And the way that you describe it, you fly in, you're in a hotel, you get a good night's sleep, you play the show, and then no, there's no rushing off. Just get a good night's sleep, and we'll fly out the next day. That doesn't sound too abusive.
It doesn't sound it until you hit 70 and you have to do it.
Weeks in a row.
Yeah. Our trumpet player Carl, who was the elder of the he's our elder statesman, and I told him, I said, dude, you're gonna have to start bringing your wife out to make things go better for you and go smoothly for you, and watch your meds and make sure you're taking them and make sure you're eating properly and you're getting enough sleep. I say, otherwise, you're just floating along. And then it's nice to have someone in your hotel room who you share your life with,
Yeah.
Wow. It's about that time, to close that gap. And so I think he's gonna pick me up on that.
Okay. That sounds like a good practice.
Yeah.
Getting back to Love's Train, you enjoyed the occasion of having that song covered by Anderson.Paak and Bruno Mars, and it seemed like they really not only did they did a great job with the song, but they let everybody know about your influence on them as well.
Yeah, that was something.
Bruno had mentioned that every time they got together, that they would play Con Funk Shun. I mean, they would warm up on Con Funk Shun and stuff. That's a huge compliment. And
Wow.
When we went to Las Vegas to go watch them perform it, right? Bruno asked our opinion of it. What did he say, Michael? Did I do a good job?
Yeah, he said he like did one of these numbers, pulled his glasses down and looked up at me. Like, so he wanted a real answer, right? And I told him, I said, how do you think we did? How do you think we did with this? Did you guys really like it? And I said, man, we loved it. And I said, let me tell you what some of the things we loved about it, right? I say, first of all, you put horns on it. All right. I say, now that right there is absolutely stunning that you put horns on it. Then I just told him all the changes and the breakdown and the drum thing and all that. I say, man, you guys knocked it out the park, man. And he says, oh man, great. He said, well, you guys working? Like, are you guys working? I said, yeah, we're working. I said, but we're about to really, really take off now. He said, well, that's good. He said, whatever you charging, double it. Let's take some pictures.
Okay.
He knew what he was saying. Like, well, you standing here with me, let's take some pictures and double your price.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty good.
Yes. Yeah.
Now you brought up Cedric. I want to, I'll tell a Tony Terry-like story about Cedric. My son was playing baseball. He was in an all-star tournament at Wilson Park. And PA didn't work. Yeah. And they just, is this thing on? Nobody could get it to work. So finally, Cedric was the third base umpire.
Okay.
And he said, don't worry. And he just started singing. And we all stood up, took hats off. He got it done, got the game started. We went on about our way. But there were a number of people in the audience looking around going, what just happened? Who was that? So once again, I'm just going to tell the story of how the members of Con Funk Shun continue to be superheroes in our community.
I did not know that you just told me something I didn't even know.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's excellent story. I didn't know that.
It was remarkable to see. Because then I was even like, wow, he can really sing. That's Cedric Martin from Con Funk Shun. Wow. So, yeah, that was a pretty cool story. And then he made a controversial call at third base, and the coach started to come out, and he just looked at the coach, and the coach turned around, went back in the dugout.
Yeah. Don't want to get into that.
Yeah. So you guys have a busy summer to look forward to now.
Yes, we do.
Tell us some of the highlights you have planned.
Let me see if I can bring it up really, 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 really fast. But yeah, we're let's see, we're actually we start the I should say the touring portion.
Macon, Georgia, Houston, Texas. Georgia.
All right.
Yeah. So we're doing we have I call it a dress rehearsal at the old sugar mill in Sacramento with Club Nouveau and Cameo on the
nice
30th, May the 30th. And then we literally, I think probably 2 weeks later, we do the San Mateo County Fair. Mm-hmm. First time for us. It'll be our first time doing the San Mateo County Fair. So we're those are kind of warm up dates. Those are kind of like dress rehearsal type of dates and then finally our very first really serious date looks like I think is it like you said, what is it, Macon?
Macon?
Yeah, Macon, Georgia. And on to Houston and on to Atlanta and then back to California, Carson, California, and Palo Alto. So we're the good news about flying your 2-year dates is that you can do a date in LA, right, during the day, and you can get on a red eye at night and fly all the way to Miami and do a date there, right? So that's the good thing. You can actually stack up a lot of dates because you are using air travel. The bad news is this present administration can affect that air travel at any time.
Yeah.
So, you kind of like, at one moment your ticket price was down here, and then like in 3 weeks your ticket prices can be up here. When gas is going through the roof.
Based on jet fuel is the most expensive of all the.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So that's terrible.
Yeah.
And you have a whole calendar that's planned out for the rhythm of those expenses.
Right.
So when you throw a wrench in that.
Right. I've always worried about, I try not to think about it, but I've always worried about the fact that we, just like playing the guitar or playing the keyboards or playing the horn, there are things you required to put on the show. And I never
Yeah.
really try to think about it, that we use airplanes to do our show.
Yeah.
So that's a rug that can be pulled off from under us. And then what do? You can't get on a bus because they're all like this. You know, you'd be sitting out there in the hotel waiting for the next one to come up, as opposed to going all the way back to California and then turn around, come all the way back out. So we've been very fortunate for probably some 30, 35 years, 40 years. I don't know how long since we've been using buses. We've been very fortunate to make these gigs on just using the aircraft.
Wow. So even when you started, I really would consider the Con Funk Shun comeback to have started in the early 90s, maybe
93.
93. Okay.
Yeah, 93.
Yeah. I would, we touched on it when we talked with Felton last week. I remember seeing you at the county fair in the Solano County Fair.
Yeah.
I've seen you at Solano County Fair maybe 1,005 times.
Right.
It's always a homecoming, and that's nice, but all the way back to back in the days where I remember you had Eric Young on bass, you had Darwin Tillery on drums. As you've continued the band, there's been a couple personnel changes now and again, but just kept getting stronger and stronger. And then last time I saw you was at the Alameda County, at the Mare Island Festival.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, I mean, you had strong showing, even though that show was really youth concentrated, because you had E40 headlining, and La Russell did a great job bringing his band out. But Con Funk Shun brought it, and you set the tone, and then plus there's a bunch of old folks like me out there in the crowd that really appreciated that you guys set it off. And that rhythm section,
yeah,
Aaron, dude,
yeah, man, so, that's a blessing. Aaron and LT on bass,
and Renee,
that's a blessing to have cats of that caliber, because they slam when they play. They slam. You don't. They don't let up on you. I mean, they don't let up. They realize, they know they set the tone. When Chase Me hits, Chase Me's got to hit. Right? When Fun hits, Fun's got to hit. Got to be enough hit. It's got to drop. The funk has to drop and stay funky. And then when it's time to do a ballad, okay, we'll drop it down for a minute, but then we right back, boom, And those guys understand that. As young as they are, they understand that. That's they've done their homework.
Yeah. Yeah. You can really tell not only in the execution of every song, but like you said, there's a show tempo that they remain mindful of.
Yeah.
And then it allows the two of you to pretty much, work the crowd, float around.
Yeah. That's the idea of having younger people
do the lifting.
Cameo has actually gone through something like that, where they retooled with younger people, and they got Larry's son out there up front now. And if you're mindful of that, I think, and same with the SOS band, when you're mindful of what you need to make the audience, meaning people are paid, they're paying more for everything now, and they paid their money to come see the show. And you don't need to be kind of drag-assing around and acting your age. You need to give them something to look at and something to feel, and that way we can concentrate on the sound. We can make sure we're delivering the authentic vocals that they're used to hearing. And that's a blessing right there for me and Felton, to be able to continue to sound like we sound 40 years ago. It's neither one of us smoke. We don't drink. We don't do all these things that mess up our voices. We are blessed to keep that vocal box the same as it was. And we don't have to go jumping around and turning backflips and on stage. We just make people come to hear us deliver Shake and Dance, deliver fun, deliver Love's Train. They They come to hear you deliver that and sound the same. And that's what I get from people all the time. Man, you sound exactly the same. Well, great. I'm sure glad you said that, because man, I'm hoping every day I wake up and still sound the same.
Wow.
Yep.
So here's how I want to close this up. Michael, describe Felton as a teammate.
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, I just did a testimonial to the band because I had this very chilling, what do you call it, emotional moment here about a week ago. And I won't go into everything that I wrote, but I let the band members know that I was how fortunate I was to be in the right place at the right time, and to actually be in need of a person of Felton's prowess back in the day when we needed to back up the Soul Children. And I remember at that time I was he was like a tool. I need that tool to do this job, right?
Yeah.
Little did I know that my respect level for Felton Pilate was over the top. And it was like, dude, this guy has spent his life learning and nurturing and studying music. Music is him. He is music. And we were blessed to have come across such a guy in music. Me, I had all these police interests, and I played enough guitar to get by and never learned to read music. And Felton was just the cat that we needed at that time, and we have been blessed with for the past umpteen years, 57 years, to have Felton Pilate in this band. I'm here to tell you.
Wow. Felton, what do you say about Michael?
Michael, in that same text, I responded, and I let everyone know. Michael is in my top 3 of most influential entities in my life. And to put that into perspective, God is number 1. Okay. Me watching Michael Cooper in Project Soul. Now, I had my band, and we were playing the occasional Battle of the Bands. And my first time seeing Project Soul, I was like, damn. See, you guys, that right there. That's what we need to sound like. We need that energy. We're just standing on songs, playing songs. The energy, the focus. My band like that, and I'm so grateful to you, Michael. Thank you for inviting me into to Project Soul, because I learned so much. Yes, I was focused on music. Michael introduced me to feel, right? Michael's energy and his focus, and how he guided Project Soul. I learned so much from that, and the fact that I believe that Michael's and I partnership is one of those things that was supposed to happen. We've often described it that he adds funk to my smoothness, and I kind of round out his rough edges, right? I think so far, commercially speaking, that's been a great combination. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Hey, and
Fantastic.
With that said, the new album is called Smooth Jukebox. It is actually done. I had to come up with another record because we have a song from the Ohio Players, an old song, and I redid it complete, stem to stern. But they're having a writer dispute, and that we don't need to be a part of. We don't need to be a part of that dispute. So I figured, okay, that song may not make the album, so let's add another mid-tempo or something. And I just did Still Water by Four Tops. Still Waters Run Deep, but I did it as a step record with a tempo, different tempo, and I actually sent it to a stepping expert in Seattle, and she sent it back to me. She said, it's a little fast, slow it down. And then I sent it back. We slowed it down. I sent it back, and she said, I love it. So, you know, and we have AI, which Felton is up on AI. So getting our video thing happening and getting our juices flowing on the video side of things. And then you mentioned it in the beginning of the interview that we don't mess around. We don't let grass grow under our feet. If the technology is there, we're going to use it, right?
Yeah.
So people can look for an interesting late summer from Con Funk Shun with the Smooth Jukebox project, and so look for that.
Smooth Jukebox, that's the new Con Funk Shun album, due out late summer. The book that Michael is working on is called Love's Train. What was the subtitle?
On Love's Train, the life
Love's Train.
Loves, the man, the music. That's a next year. That won't come to next year. That one's going to hopefully be same time next year, summertime release. I've got Amazon all lined up. I'm really happy about that. I got Amazon
still fleshing out those good stories, huh?
Yeah. Amazon's all. I just got it. It's funny, man. I'm working on a pad, right? And right now we're redoing everything for spring. We're tearing everything out, throwing everything away. But I got a pad that I'm working on, right? You can just talk into the pad and it'll type it out. You don't have to worry about spelling or anything. And whoever does the editing will do some things too. But it's funny where I am in the book, and I close it out with me and I think I'm probably 3 or 4 years old. And I close it out with my dad on his way to go to work as a garbage man. And it's the name of the chapter. The name of the chapter is "See You Later, Alligator," and that's what my dad used to say to me throughout my childhood life when it's time to go, right? And we were partying. He would say, "See you later, alligator," and I'd say, "After a while, crocodile." And that's how the book starts, right?
Wow.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Well, that's a good way to close this out. Ladies and gentlemen, my guests today have been Felton Pilate and Michael Cooper from Con Funk Shun. Once again, musical influences since I started playing music, and really influences since I started to realize what a good time, what being romantic was about, what what rocking the party was. And so for that, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and for sharing some stories with me today. I thank you as well. I'm looking forward to those things, the album, the book, and thanks a lot, fellas.
Love
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Keep on knocking them dead, buddy.